In fiction, we have characters and settings. The characters are who or what experiences the plot, and the setting is where the story takes place. Both of these are important in different ways because they help consumers like you and me achieve the ultimate objective of literature: emotion. Hate, anger, sadness, grief, joy, excitement, hope. The specific emotion is different for all of us, but whenever we consume fictional media, it's because we want to feel something. That's where characters come in. Because these are the figures whose experiences, stories relate to us, the emotions we feel depend on our connection to these characters and whether we perceive the events of their lives to be positive or negative. If a character we like has a good thing happen to them, we're pleased. If a character we like has a bad thing happen to them, we threaten violence. And I promise this is where the title of the video comes in. Just as characters are important because they're the mechanism through which we experience the story, the setting is important because that determines what the characters experience in the first place. In Tower of God, there exists a tower that promises the fulfillment of all desires to whoever reaches the top. This is part of the setting. Because it exists, protagonist Bam feels abandoned at the start of the story. The doors to the tower open and the one person that represents his entire world leaves him behind to pursue her aspirations. If one person is in the tower and another isn't, their entire relationship ends there because people can't simply enter or exit because they wish to, and even finding someone if you follow after them is unlikely. The setting establishes the rules that all characters must abide by, and this gives them opportunities to be interesting by showing the audience how they adapt to life in a world fundamentally different from ours. I've already spoken about this before, so I'll cut to the chase. There's a specific setting I want to talk to you about today that lays the foundation for a good story very well. Even more specifically, from this story, I want to talk about one particular element of the setting around which the entire story revolves. I want to discuss what may be the single worst piece of legislation I've ever seen in any manhwa or webcomic: the kill law. This law is central to the plot of Death Rescheduled, which is free to read over on WEBTOON, the sponsor of today's video. I'll be honest, when I first read Death Rescheduled, I was in complete disbelief. It paints a picture of a society that has made normal a completely outrageous law: the kill law. Once per year, you can kill any person of your choosing. Gender, race, religion, age, occupation, all are equal before the kill law, with no consequences whatsoever. For so long as you have the ability to do so, you can kill any person you desire. I have no idea what kind of political history led to this being a regular aspect of their society, but it is, and most people don't even see a problem with it. Protagonist Creole, however, isn't most people. After his childhood best friend fell victim to the kill law, he devoted the rest of his life to bringing it to an end. While in our world that might involve a political career in hopes of becoming a lawmaker, in the world of Death Rescheduled, where you need 5 million signatures on a petition to start a referendum for any legislative change, we find ourselves with a ton of battles, both physical and philosophical, between the protagonists and the people content with the current legal system. In a world where some are born as deviants with special powers and others modify their bodies to improve combat ability, very few see the use of getting rid of a law they don't feel disadvantages them, and this is where all the major conflict in the story stems from. It recently came back off hiatus, so this is the perfect time to give it a read if you're interested in a story that debates the extent to which every human should have the right to inform enforce the law. I will warn you though, I personally had a hard time getting through the first stretch of the story because the dialogue was really rough at times. I felt like the writing was trying too hard to create one-liners for the audience, but the conversations definitely become more natural as the story progresses. Thanks for watching. This has been Ken-chan chasing a deadline.